past 9 o'clock. You will all stand. We will have a prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Heavenly Father, we gather today a bit early due to the Christmas holidays, Lord, and business is secondary. We, in light of the grand scheme of things, we are celebrating Christmas this time of year, and we're arranging our schedule around that special day where we celebrate the birth of your Son, Jesus Christ. We just pray that you will keep us all mindful of exactly what the purpose of Christmas is as we enjoy these holidays that we're afforded over the next few days. We thank you for this time with our families. We thank you for this time of rest and enjoyment and merriment and eating lots of good food and just spending time with children and grandchildren and parents and all the other things that come along with Christmas. We thank you for that holiday, Lord, and we just thank you most of all for the reason we celebrate that holiday, and that is the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ. We just turn this meeting over to you and ask that you would guide us through these few items that we have on this last agenda of the year. And we just pray that you will bless this town, community, and county in this upcoming year. We pray for those who are sick or dealing with sadness and death and funerals and the other things that can make this time of year very difficult. We just thank you for your presence here with us today. In Christ's name, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, for the record, today is the 23rd day of December 2021. It is Thursday, and we are fortunate to have off a holiday on Friday and Monday, and the court opted to move this meeting back a year ago and have it on the Thursday prior to Christmas rather than coming back on Tuesday after Christmas. And we are fortunate to have a relatively short agenda today. We will begin with item number 1. This is our public comment time. Any requests or comments regarding information on non-agenda items? Is anyone that has anything like that? Then we will move to item number 2, consider and possibly approve minutes from our meeting not quite 2 weeks ago, December 13th, our regular meeting of the Commissioners Court. We had a rather lengthy meeting there and a lengthy set of minutes, and appreciate Joyce handling my last minute changes this morning that were minor. So we have that one set of minutes for your consideration.
Make that motion, we approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the December 13th, 2021 minutes made by Commissioner Parchman.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Fitch. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3, report regarding roadwork status. I'll start Commissioner Precinct 4.
Part of my guys have been off some, but we've been patching. Others have been patching, and we had a culvert or 2 that we put in, and that's been pretty much the extent of it. I've got all 4 of my guys off right now, the rest of this week and next week. So if anything comes in, I told them to stay close to their phone. So, but that's what we're trying to do right now. And I finally got word yesterday that the big tank car that I've been trying to get for that bridge down there where I've got the road closed on 4765 is they've got it. Nearly took my breath away when he told me what it was going to be, but I've got to do it. So that's the cheapest route that I've found to go is with it, and we'll be getting it in sometime right after the first of the year, and I've contacted Cameron's about putting it in for me, and he's working, or said we'd get together right after the first and see what we need to do to get started on it. So,
do you remove the tank from the railroad wheels and all that?
Yes, they do that.
They do that.
They bring it on a trailer and we just roll it
They
off.
cut the ends off, and so it comes ready to lay in
It comes ready
place.
to, all we have to do is roll it in the hole after Dennis gets everything dug
How
out.
long is it?
48 and a half foot. 10 foot 6 is what the height on the opening on, or 10 foot 3, and the length is 48.6. So it's extremely heavy. He said this was one of the some of the heaviest ones they'd got. They didn't get but 29 in this time. They hadn't had any now in 6 months or longer. And he said they finally got 29 in, and he said most all of them are already spoken for, but he moved me to the top of the list because he wanted to, he said, you've got a road closed. He said that's priority over anything else. So he called me just as soon as they got everything, all the paperwork and all done on them, and they were working on it yesterday to cut the ends and all of that. So it'll be ready to put in when we get it, but and I told him, I said, this is not going to be easy because the driver may have to back close to a mile to get it down where we've got to have it. And he said, he can handle that. And I said, okay, I just wanted you to be aware of it. And so I called and got with Barber and got a PO and everything yesterday for it, and called him back, told him, I said, I want it. I've got to do something. And I said, that's going to be my easiest route and cheapest route to go is with it. So,
Hopefully that gets done in January, February.
yes. If we don't start getting a whole bunch of rain, then that's what I'm hoping for. That's one reason I've been pushing so hard to try to get it, was because if that creek is down pretty low right now, and it won't take a whole lot because we'll have to dam it up enough to where we can dig out and get everything. I've also talked to the man that owns the property right by the side of it there, and he don't use the land right now. He's got it all fenced off, but he told me that if we needed to do something else in there, just to let him know, and we're going to try to straighten it out a little bit because it goes down and makes a hairpin turn and comes back and makes another turn up there. So if we can straighten it out, it'll help that water. That road's bad about flooding, and if we can get it straight, get the cover straightened out, well, it'll help that water to flow a little faster.
You have to pull out the old culvert?
It's just got it's got some I-beam, some 12-inch I-beam sitting on the pylons in there, so and then had sheet iron welded to the top of it is all it had on it. And that sheet metal had rusted out, and that's why it had started falling in. And that's the reason I had to shut her down when I did. So one end of it had started giving away. It used to be an old wooden bridge. The creek's probably, it's not as wide as from here to John there, the creek itself, but there's a lot of water goes through it. And so.
Wow, big task. Anything else?
That's pretty much it right now.
Well, we've been cutting down some old dead trees off the right-of-ways where we won't be hitting cars, and people won't be complaining about the debris on the road. And we starting getting our gravel in, pushing it up. We're starting to get ready for chip seal next year.
We've been patching some potholes and covering up some soft spots that we had dug out and put some material in, paved over them, repaired some signs that were knocked down and missing, and then we serviced all of our vehicles this week. And we'll start on our equipment next week, servicing, changing oil filters, and make sure everything's ready to go.
Thank you.
That's it.
Well, we've been shorthanded as well due to some of the guys being on vacation here and there. We have been doing a little bit of scabbing, and we have installed a few culverts, and that's about it, due to the rain and the cold as well. So.
Well, the good news is we've got nice weather for the next week.
That's nice.
So hopefully we don't have any floods or ice or snow.
That's right.
Okay, item number 4, consider and possibly approve the removal of a knoll, K-N-O-L-L, on private property. This is on County Road 1535 to improve traffic visibility. Commissioner Parchman came to talk to me about that, and we've got a situation where we feel like it's justified to do some work on private property that's not necessarily for the benefit of the private property owner. I'll let Commissioner Parchman give you further information on this.
So the gentleman called me out there the other day to look at this, and it is a very dangerous blind curve. You can't see around it, and I sat right there and watched a car coming around the opposite way, and it was in the oncoming lane, and it's a bad safety hazard, and I think it would do some good to cut it down. It requires getting on the personal property to do it, but being a safety hazard, I think we need to do it.
And will you get some kind of written permission from that landowner to get on his land?
Yes, I can do that.
And he supports this project?
Yes, he does.
Okay, so basically you're going to shave down an obstruction to hopefully give visibility.
We would just shave it and put it in a pile, and he can move it whichever he wants to do, just as long as we can see from point A to point B around that curve.
Okay. So you don't have to haul anything off, you'll leave it with him?
Right, I told him we're not going to haul anything off, we're just going to take a maintainer or a couple of backhoes in there and shave it where we can see, where it's safe, where the cars can see, have a visible view around that curve. So.
Okay. So again, this is not for the benefit of the landowners, for the benefit of those that travel that road.
Absolutely, and I have a couple more roads that's going to be in the future that are probably going to bring this up as well. But this one is a priority for the town. So.
Okay. All right, so we have a situation where we don't typically do work on private property, but this is a county benefit, not a landowner benefit. So Commissioner Parchman is asking for permission in advance to do something like this so that he's not challenged on the propriety of a project like this.
Make a motion, we do the job and approve the work.
Motion's made to approve the removal of the knoll on private property on 1535 to improve traffic visibility. Commissioner Fitch makes that motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Applewhite. Any other questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 5, consider and possibly approve a 3-year extension of the computer services agreement with Cabro Technologies at the rate of $124,016.88 annually. That's the first part. In keeping with an exemption allowed to us by Chapter 262 of the Local Government Code. Let's kind of break this down into individual components. First of all, 3 years ago, we signed this computer services agreement at this exact same rate with Cabro. That particular document had in it a clause where it would automatically renew at the end of that 3 years unless either party said, no, we don't want to renew that. They have not changed the price on us at all. Sean Bryan with Cabro did discuss this with me back in the summertime. And honestly, I should have brought this to you sooner than now so that you could think about it. So number one, I want you to know that there's not a change they're not raising their rate. We are still getting, and let me break down kind of the components of this just as a reminder of what Cabro does. $85,000 of this $124,000 is for desktop and network essentials for 134 computers. That includes the user support of the software that is run on these computers, the hardware itself, the routers that get the internet signal to each of these computers, the firewall that protects us from outside attacks, Switch administration, I can't tell you what that means. Wireless network administration for the courthouse, annex, sheriff's office, JP, etc. CJIS, audit compliance for the sheriff's office, Windows server management, Linux server management, daily backup tapes, local backup server management, cloud backup software management. We have both. We have both hardware and tapes that back us up, and we have cloud storage just as additional redundancies, so to be sure, if we ever had a disaster, that we could restore quickly. So we have not only tapes, so that if the tapes got wiped out or whatever, we have cloud storage as well. They handle the court video editing, the YouTube channel management, web hosting, and maintenance. Another $48,000 on top of that has to do with the KIPS security, and this is something we implemented, maybe, I guess it was about 3 years at the time we had this increase in this in the cost of this annual maintenance, and that is the key to our security. I can't remember what that KIPS, KBRO something, but this is what protects all of our equipment, protects our software, keeps us from being hacked, from being infiltrated from the outside, losing data, from having ransomware infect us. The next level is $9,800 of additional services, monthly reports that are rendered, technology, budget assessment and assistance, and inventory management services for computer hardware. While I'm on that subject, Barbara, that's something that I think that you would like for me to discuss with KBRO to strengthen our inventory management, which you feel like does need some more attention. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, when I asked him, I talked to Seth almost a year ago, and he had a kind of a framework of an inventory management system, but it wasn't complete. So he worked on that and got something for me for all of the computers themselves, but all of the items that plug into it and go with it, he didn't have all that. Mainly because those things aren't always purchased through KBRO. If we purchase from them, through them, then they have that information. But because it's in the contract, I asked him to come just look at everything that we have, because in the event of a fire or a theft, we need to know what we've got. So I think he's been working on that. And my other question was related to the monthly report of services. I was told that he renders a report to you that lets you know which department uses the most, who has to support the most. And I think that that's something that we probably need to know, because perhaps some of those departments need some additional support of some kind.
And that may be something that is available upon request. Right now, I'm not getting that, but that doesn't necessarily mean they couldn't instantly provide that data for me if I asked for it. So that is not something I've been asking for. I trust them to let me know when there are issues that need to be dealt with, whether that's my decision or whether that's a court decision, or whether it's a decision of the elected official.
Yeah.
So we can have that discussion with them if there's some additional information that we feel like we would benefit from. So that was $9,800. So now we're in excess of that $124,000. We get a discount on that $48,000 KIPS security. That's the $48,000 level of this contract. We get about a $9,600 discount on that because we opted in for that upgrade back when they were first developing that 3 years ago, and we were given that discount. They are still giving us that discount. Then we get a final $9,800 added services bundle discount, and again, that was part of the contract that we negotiated with them 3 years ago. So the dollars stay the same. I guess theoretically the services all stay the same. We are at the end of that 3-year contract. Unless we opt to do anything different, I want your approval to allow that thing to automatically renew for another 3 years. Now, you also should know that there is still an escape clause out of this contract. If for some reason we want to terminate our relationship with KBRO or vice versa, there are ways to do that fairly quickly within this contract, so it's not like we are absolutely locked in and have to put up with, not that we are doing this, I hate to even mention the word inferior service with KBRO because I think we get superior service, but if for any reason they had a change of personnel or they sold to somebody else or we had some other reason for wanting to change this relationship, we can do that. But this is a 36-month additional agreement there with them, keeping the prices the same for right now. The next component of this is, are there requirements because of the size of this expenditure, which is paid for all at once up front? Is there a requirement to go through the bid process each time, each year, every 3 years, whenever it is, to renew this contract? And the answer is, we believe that this section Chapter 262 of the Local Government Code related to professional services gives us the ability to not go through the bid process. We have talked about this in the past regarding what other options are out there. And we just know that there's not a lot of options in our community. We could go out for bid with a larger firm, say out of the big city, but I feel like there are a lot of benefits that we derive from doing business with KBRO, who is located physically, their home office in Sulphur Springs. We are in the middle of their trade area over here. I believe, for the most part, I'll speak only for myself, I'm extremely satisfied with their work, that we get at a reasonable price, I believe, a very reasonable price for the services that are offered. And if we were to replace them with an in-house person, we've had this discussion as well. The amount of money that you pay to them, you would undoubtedly pay an individual IT specialist by the time you paid for their salary and benefits. I'm sure that you would pay this and more. What you get with KBRO is a number of personnel that each specialize in various areas. You have their years of expertise. You have their expertise in county software, hardware management, their expertise related to net data. They are completely proficient at Windows, at Linux, and other pieces that I'm not even qualified to talk about because of their vast breadth of knowledge, education, experience in our areas. So if one person, say, isn't a specialist on email or web services like David Janakis is, he's their specialist in that area, whereas Sean and Seth and the other two guys that I can't think of their names right now that they send over here to us, I think we get a lot of benefit from that $124,000. So again, if any of you ever got to the point, hey, I would like to go out for bid, I'd like to consider somebody else to provide these services for us. Of course, we would want to, in all fairness, talk with our elected officials and make sure they would be willing to go through a change like that. But then, of course, talk with KBRO and give them an opportunity to either, rectify what we felt like was an insufficiency or discuss with them why it is that we're looking at somebody else. I don't sense that there's any interest in making a change, but again, in full disclosure, I want you to know as much about this professional services contract as I can tell you. So I am asking for you to approve the extension or the tacking on of another 3 years to this contract at no price change with Cabro Technologies to continue to be our IT company that serves the entire county.
I make a motion, we approve the 3-year extension for Cabro.
You're tired of hearing me talk? Second. All right, I have a motion. Was that a second?
Yeah.
Okay, and a second. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion, questions, comments on this? If not, all in favor of approving the 3-year extension of the computer services contract with Cabro Technologies, say aye. Aye. All right, thank you. Barbara, thank you for once again keeping me aware of the things that might otherwise get us in trouble and making sure that we approve these things and discuss the bid process or the lack thereof. So I do appreciate that indeed. Item number 6, that concludes the 2 or the 3 items there that were the major items in our meeting today. We'll move on to our oral and written reports that's been provided to you by Barbara, and let me bring to your attention oh, well, that's really a separate line. I apologize. The budget amendment is a separate deal. So anyway, let's take one at a time, and that is a separate line. I'm just your oral and written reports of county officials that Barbara has provided. Then I'll deal with the budget amendment there separately.
Make a motion we approve the oral and written report.
Motion is made by Commissioner Parker.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fitch. Is there any discussion or comments or questions for Barbara on this report? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we do have this one budget amendment, and I think I've got this figured out, Barbara, but you may have to give some additional explanation.
Treasury report.
Oh, yeah. I'm jumping ahead. I'm in a hurry. Treasurer's report provided to you by Cheryl. I don't want to
Make a motion.
snub her. Motion is made to approve the treasurer's report by Commissioner Applewhite.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fitch. Any discussion, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, if y'all will sign those 2 documents for me. Okay, item number 8, your budget amendment. This is going to affect precinct 1, 2, and 3, and this relates to our county transportation infrastructure grant program. What this budget amendment does is it allocates some additional, let me just read this to you, to set up the line items that were approved by TxDOT to continue the county transportation infrastructure grant program with additional projects for precincts 1, 2, and 3 due to the fact that there were remaining funds available after the original projects were completed. Precinct 4 did not have any remaining funds. In other words, they used all of their funds for the project that they had originally set forth. In Precinct 1, 2, and 3, the original projects that were proposed to get these grant funds didn't burn up all of the available grant fund money, and so they came up with some additional projects to fully spend all of that money. If I said that correctly? So read it one more time to set up these line items for the TxDOT grant money for additional projects for 1, 2, and 3 to fully utilize all of that money. We didn't want to leave money on the table and say, well, that's all we needed to do. So we came up with some additional smaller projects. And when I say small, $4,000 in Precinct 1, $7,300 in Precinct 2, and $22,000 in Precinct 3. So that is the only budget amendment there. Barbara's just recognizing those available funds so that they are there to offset expenses in each of these precincts for the work on these additional projects.
Make a motion, we approve the budget amendment.
Motion by Commissioner Parker to approve this budget amendment number 7,
Second.
2022-007, second by Commissioner Parchman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Let me sign that. Item number 9, sign pay orders and approve payments.
Make a motion, we pay our bill.
This is a motion to pay these year-end bills here. Do we have any big special ones that need attention or that we're trying to rush and get out
Well,
today?
when you look at what's up there to be signed, the largest one is a little over $1 million that went to the title company for the right-of-way things. So those checks were delivered last week, the 14th, I think. No, you got them on the 13th. So those have been in the hands of the title company. That's the largest one. Everything else is just
Oh,
standard.
thank you all for doing that. Okay. Could I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so let's be sure, don't leave. Maybe you all have already signed that. I need to look over that and get my signature on that one. Okay, closing comments. I did not have anything in particular. I am very grateful for the 2 days that the county gives us off. I hope that each of you have a wonderful Christmas holiday. Thank you for a great calendar year. Anyway, we're still in the midst of a budget year, and I hope that the next year is a wonderful year for each of you in your individual offices, and thank you for the support that you provide for the county. I can't think of anything in particular that I have. We've got good weather once again coming up, and I don't know of any other issues that I need to bring to your attention. So thank you. I'm glad to have a short meeting today, and that was kind of the benefit from having that long meeting a couple of weeks ago. I'll start with Commissioner Parchman. Any closing comments?
I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody and Happy Holidays.
Thank you. Commissioner Pitch.
I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I want to thank the Auditor's Department and Miss Barbara and Linda and Nanette really help us on this road grant. It's a lot of paperwork and save us a lot of money, and we get the job done, and I appreciate all their help. They work really hard with us.
I just thought of something, and we may talk about this some more at a future meeting, but we now have a vacancy downstairs in the northwest corner. You're still thinking about moving some operations down there?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just kind of dropping that little hint. We'll discuss this at the next meeting some more and give. Will you be ready to make a move down there fairly quickly?
I would hope to do that sometime next week or the first week of January.
Okay.
I visited with all the commissioners about it.
Okay. Well, this doesn't need approval or anything, but we do want to fully utilize that nice corner office. Barbara's busting out down there, and she wishes that extra space was maybe a little closer to her headquarters down there, but this seems to be a good alternative. And will you make that front vestibule area available to the commissioners again, or how are we going to rearrange that?
We're going to put them in that front vestibule area or possibly across the hall in the old storage room that the
Where
auditor
Chris
had.
Durant's been?
Yes, sir, so that they're closer to my office if you have questions. Haven't really decided. It would work better in the vestibule except on the days when Sharon Reynolds is working on payroll. That's the reason why we're moving her, because she needs peace and quiet and not interruptions when she's doing that. So there'd be 4 or 5 days a month when, I would have to ask you don't go in there, and that doesn't work. You need to be able to come and sign things daily or every other day. So likely across the hall is where we'll put them, or possibly back in my office, in our office proper.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Commissioner Applewhite.
I just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and just be careful and be safe.
Thank you.
I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And That's all I've got.
All right, it's 9:35. Thank you. If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Parchman.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.